All right, we just mentioned the Raptors, who currently have the best record in the NBA. Paul, after about a quarter of the season, I'm going to ask you a tough question. Are you taking the Raptors or the field to win the East right now?
The Raptors are the best team in the league record-wise, but I'm going to have to take the field on this one. You still have Philly, who got better with Jimmy Butler. You still got the Celtics. I'm not counting the Celtics out.
Yep.
I mean, you got to beat this talented squad 4 out of 7, and then Milwaukee. I mean, the field is pretty deep in the East, so any of those teams I feel like can get to the finals.
Yeah, the Raptors are the favorite, and they should be the favorite. But what Paul said is accurate. It's not like they're head and shoulders so much better than the other 3 teams, and those 3 teams are pretty good. And so, you know, even the Celtics, with the slow start that they've had, having that many guys who can take over a game is going to be a gift, and obviously they're elite defensively. Milwaukee's been elite on both ends of the floor, and then, man, Philadelphia. You talk about they got the best point guard, they got one of the best wings, and they got the best center in the conference. That's tough to beat again in a 7-game series. That's tough.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question. You guys are hitting the nail on the head on all that stuff. And by the way, you saw the Raptors actually are not the favorite according to Vegas. They're third. They're your favorite, and that's fine. But I'm with you. I'm taking the field here too, particularly because of the Celtics. As you guys kind of illustrated, they're still figuring this thing out. They've had the second toughest schedule to start the season, so I think things will get a little easier for them. They'll be able to kind of feast on some easier. And the Sixers, man, they're just crazy. And by the way, look at what Giannis is doing. Considering he's shooting like, I think, 16 or 17% from 3, and he's still getting to the bucket at ease. The Bucks are a team that you're going to have to contend with, too, in the Eastern Conference playoff race.
Yeah, I mean, they got the best player in the Eastern Conference, I believe, with Giannis. And underrated pickup was getting Brook Lopez. That was an underrated pickup.
$3 million, man.
That was a pickup that nobody talked about, but it's paying huge dividends for why they're at where they're at right now.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Raptors, I think, could be the favorite because you think they have the best player? Do you think he's better than Kawhi right now?
I'm taking Giannis as the best player in the Eastern Conference.
Okay.
I got Kawhi.
Yes.
Yeah, I would probably still have Kawhi at this point, just because he's got the ability to shoot from 3.
It's definitely close because Kawhi can do everything.
Yeah.
He can do everything on the court, and he is the best perimeter defensive player in the NBA.
Yeah.
I mean, I know.
It's close.
I know.
It's hard for me not to look at Giannis's numbers.
No, absolutely. No, I'm not saying, you wildin'. I'm just saying.
I mean, think about the shot Kevin Durant had to hit to send that into overtime. He had to dribble to the basket, out of the paint, back to the corner. It was crazy.
Kevin Durant scored 51, man. That was a hard 51, man, because when Kawhi was on him, Kawhi was like, that's really, when you talk about guarding great players, you're never going to shut them down.
No, for sure.
But the idea is I can make you work for these points, and he did.
So, Paul, why are you not necessarily sold on the Raptors then?
You know what? It's not that I'm not sold. It's just that the Eastern Conference has 3 or 4 teams at the top. I mean, they still have to. They have to still show me they're that team. I know they don't have DeMar DeRozan anymore. They got Kawhi, but they got swept last year. I know it's a different team. They're a year older. They got a bigger star. Lowry's playing off the charts this year.
Yes, absolutely.
It's just something come playoff time with the Raptors because they're always at the top record-wise. It's just they flame out in the playoffs.
Canada, I believe in y'all.
Yeah, I believe that.
I took the field, and now I'm trying to pretend.
The Eastern Conference semifinals is going to be get right?
Man,
between those 4
when we get rid of the riffraff.
Second round,
get
it's going to be on
the Hornets and all them guys out the way. Let's get to the real stuff.
And of course, a lot of it is because the Sixers are in this mix, as you pointed out. I mean, 3 great players, including Joel Embiid, who is an MVP candidate, currently 4th in total minutes, though, this season, and is more than halfway towards surpassing the threshold of 1,650 minutes needed to put him in position to guarantee years 3 and 4 and 5 of his contract extension if he can reach that threshold again next season. So, I mean, how should the Sixers manage Embiid's minutes given his injury history?
Well, I mean, I think you got to look to the medical staff. I came from Phoenix. In Phoenix, we had one of the best training staffs, one of the best medical staffs. And that's, for us, that's dictated how things should progress. We gave them, that's the veto, that's the buck stops there when you talk about players and their health, right? Same thing here. Brian Colangelo left a really, really advanced medical staff in Philly, and because of what's happened in technology, we have all types of things that we can track how hard a player is working on the floor, not only in the games but in practice, how hard those minutes are. Yesterday we talked about high-impact minutes. The training and the medical staff know exactly how high-impact your minutes are, and so they can, I won't say predict, but they can tell when it's getting a little stressful, we need to pull back or whatever. So as long as the medical staff is cool, I'm cool.
I'm not so sure. I mean, his history of injuries, though. I mean, when you look at that list, mostly guards are going to be at the top of the list minutes-wise. Just the amount of banging he does every night, the physicality, for him to be up there in minutes, based on his history, you got to bring that down because usually when the muscles fatigue, that's when the injuries come in. And then, you know, later in the season, you got to remember it's 82 games.
Right.
You can't be playing them this many minutes.
But that's what I'm talking about. Like, the medical staff actually know. Like, it used to be we just kind of would have to guess, like, yo, we've been putting him too much. His muscles are getting fatigued, he might get injured. Now we're getting better with the science as far as actually knowing, measuring when, you know, based on your explosion, based on, you know, how quick you accelerate, all those things. You know, oh, he's getting tired out there, he's getting worn out.
I mean, at the end of the day, you can't predict injuries.
Right.
I mean, you can have a guy play 5 minutes a night and come in and sprain an ankle or do something. So you can't really predict it, but the wear and tear, it adds up toward the end of the season, especially for a big guy like him.
Do you think part of the minutes accumulation is because how highly contested that top of the Eastern Conference is, and they want to try to secure home court advantages for as far as they can in the playoffs?
I just think they're not that good with him off the floor.
Yeah. Well, there's that clearly.
I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah.
I mean,
Jeff Van Gundy,
it's a big hole in the middle when he's off the floor.
Jeff Van Gundy talked about this before, and I know Jeff's an old school guy, but he said the idea that people would scoff at a team playing their best player a lot of them. Like, yeah, we're trying to win games, man. What you think we're trying to do? So, that, like Paul said, man,
but
when
they're
he
going to be a
play,
playoff team. They're going to be in the playoffs.
Right.
You need them for the long run.
They need home court advantage, too.
Home court advantage, too, though. They got a
run.
youngish team still, for the most part. So, hey, coming up next, Kobe Bryant took a shot at Warriors fans last night. Was that a petty move by the Mamba? But first, here's a distant replay from this date in 2010.
Oh, man, it got to be Vince Carter.
Here comes Rose, trying to get up ahead of Steve.
MVP Rose.
Rose to his left, lost his dribble, got it back.
Just for the win. For the win. That's MVP Rose.
Yeah, it was. That was that year, right?
He's balling this year, too.
Is that Brad Miller? You hit that shot on Brad Miller? Big Bad Brad! There you go. And Luis Scola.
Luis Scola, like 50, still.
This NFL season has been insane.